Hi, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Very good. What's your name and what do you do?
My name's Michael Salamon, and I'm a lead experience architect at Effective UI. We're a user experience agency based in Denver, Colorado, and I like to say that we're user experience super freaks.
Wow, sounds a very big statement.
Yeah.
So can you tell us more about your company, what service you offer, and what product you do?
Yeah, sure. I like to say that we're like a cradle to grave kind of user experience agency. We do everything from design research up front, through interaction design, through visual design and comping, into development from a front end and a back end system, and all the way through even to like a lot of the strategy that you would use in developing your application or in even promoting it. So we do the whole kit and caboodle. The idea is that we like to partner with our clients and not just abandon them once we finish a portion of the work.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like an overall scale. You work with your clients.
Yes.
Thank you. And so, what are some of the industry you serve?
Oh yeah, well, we cover a lot of verticals. We work with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, everybody from telecom to financial services to some shopping services to portals to corporate intranets, web applications, iPhone apps, mobile apps, tablet apps. I like to say that we design for anything with a screen and try to focus on the user all the way through it.
Do you work, so it sounds like all of them are very big company. Do you work with a small company?
We have worked with smaller companies before, and right now we seem to be focusing on a lot of the larger companies. But really, I think we kind of approach it from a project basis, and if it's a cool project and it sounds like we might be breaking a lot of ground, then we'd work with almost anybody.
Mm-hmm. So, what is the core value of your company?
It is user-centered design, all the way through. Everyone from the design researchers, the design practitioners, even into the CEO and the president and our operations team, everybody is focused on the user, hyper-focused on the user. So it's really interesting to be able to hear everybody say the same thing and really be concerned with the user in the end run.
So how do you help company to create a better experience?
Oh, that's a really good question. Usually what I like to do is I'll come in and we'll listen to what your goal is. We'll do a lot of competitive analysis and strategic thinking, and I actually want to help you craft your strategy at that point. So after I get a full understanding of what you're trying to accomplish, then I like to do a lot of user research and go out and validate what we're trying to do and make sure that it's going to resound with the users. So following that, then it's really a plan of how to implement the findings and maybe redirect any of the energies that might be misplaced.
So by your definition, what do you think is a good experience for?
A good experience for a user is allowing them to accomplish whatever task or goal that they have set forth before them in as an intuitive and elegant way as possible. So we really want to focus on why is the user here, why is your customer here, what are they trying to get out of it, and design the experience to suit them.
So just you mentioned you normally will go into clients and talk with them.
Yeah.
So how do you help those customers to define the scope of their project?
That's a good question too. Usually there's a lot of discussion with them, right? Trying to really understand what they're trying to do, and sometimes we have to ask a lot of questions and maybe ask the same ones multiple times to make sure that we truly understand what the client is trying to do. That helps us define almost what their strategy is, and then we have such a large history of working with companies like this and being kind of digital pioneers, being on the web and being in application development, and we have such a large group of really talented people that it's easy to kind of sit down and brainstorm or spitball a strategy, and then we just have to align that back with the company and make sure that what we see in the world and what we see from a user standpoint really marries with what they're trying to do. It's a lot of talking, and it's a lot of workshops, and it's a lot of discovery about what it is, and then we typically come back and present either a document or a deck or a presentation or a strategy on this is what we think you need to do. What I really want to stress is that we don't want to just look at the end of the project. We need to look 5 years down the road and see how much change is going to happen and make sure that we're designing for that change and we're not painting ourselves into a corner.
So it might involve a lot of discussion with all the departments in that.
Very much so. Yeah, it's not just a marketing initiative, it's not just an IT initiative. It seems like it needs to be a holistic view of what the strategy of the company is. Different departments may have different goals in mind, and making sure that we kind of make all the players have the same goal in mind. It's almost like couples counseling at some point. It can be.
Sounds really complicated.
It's fun, it's exciting, and you always end up learning more about the client and the customer than maybe they think that you're going to initially.
So now I want to come back a little bit about your company. What is the size of your company, and what are the components of your company to provide all those fantastic service?
Gotcha. We have a little over 100. I think we might have like 109 or 112 people right now. And like I said, we're based in Denver, Colorado, but we do have a satellite office in Rochester, New York. And we have a whole host of people in there. So we have design researchers, and then what I call design practitioners, so that would be interaction designers and visual designers and experience architects and that nature. And then we have a whole host of developers as well. So we are partners with Adobe and Microsoft and Sun, and we like to think of ourselves as technology agnostic. So my ultimate goal is to design the best experience, not necessarily to design the best experience that one technology can support. So I'd really like to look at what the real goal of the user is, and then we'll throw the technology that's required at it once we identify what that goal is.
So I'm representing a design magazine, so I would like to ask you a few questions from the design's point of view.
Yeah.
So like you have a lot of visual designers and interaction designers, and how those designers work with strategy part of the idea?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that you should bring in teams after the fact. So when I go out for those initial discussions, a lot of the strategy thinking, I like to bring a development lead and a visual designer, as well as an account or a managing director. And what we end up doing is getting everyone involved from the inception of the project. I find that if you bring somebody in after the fact, they may not hear the entire thing. There's a game in America called Telephone, where I say one thing and then I tell you, and then you tell somebody else, and they tell somebody else, and by the time it gets 4 people down, it's a different term. Yeah, so we want to make sure that we have everybody up front so that they can hear all the things that the client is saying and what they're trying to accomplish, and we can ask them the right questions from the entire view, from the organization's view. So they work in tandem all the time. Now we do have a lead experience architect that will be kind of manning or in charge of the project, but he's really a figurehead, or he or she is a figurehead, and everybody else on the team supports them and has content, ideas. Good ideas come from everyone on the team. So it seems naive or nearsighted to only isolate it to one person dictating a strategy.
So it could be like from design, from business, from strategy, or anywhere.
Yeah, and they all have to play well together, so we might as well have all of those intelligent people talking at the inception of the project.
Okay. Wow, sounds very interesting. Yeah, and the one final question is that, so how does designer and the developer work together. It seems to me like they are two people from two different worlds.
Right.
Yeah. What is your situation in combining these two people?
Right, and in a lot of industries, they still are a very separated world. That drives me nuts. It should be a collaborative environment. And so at Effective UI, what we end up doing is we do a lot of really tight collaboration between design and development, between both sides of the house. And I'd even throw in design research because they're as much of the solution as we are. So we have a very flat company, meaning we don't have any cubicles in our office. We don't have any offices that are separated. We have meeting rooms that you can go into and have some privacy, and we have breakout rooms where you can go in there and work in a collaborative manner. But I can walk right over to the developer. In fact, the developer that I gave a presentation with at this event sits right next to me. So I can literally look over at him and see what he's working on. And if he has a problem or if he has a concern, we can address it right there. Waiting until you do traditional design reviews is too long. You wait too long. If there's a problem, you should be able to solve it. And I'm very lucky because the developers that I have working with me are probably better designers than some of the designers that work in the industry right now. So we have really design-focused developers, and they are looking out for the design side of it as much as I am. And that's very refreshing because you have another set of eyes doing it. On the other side, I'm trying very hard to make sure that I understand what development is up against, and when I present ideas or when I present solutions, that they are technically possible and aren't going to cost this, it's not going to be like $1 billion, and we're not trying to boil the ocean.
So you just brought up, as you said, I have an inception of the question at once.
Right. I think they should be involved in every point. So at the very beginning, we'll bring them in to do a lot of design research. It could be competitive analysis, it could be ethnographic research, it could be site visits, but we also want to do usability testing and even use case testing, not necessarily at the end of the project, but during the project. So when we have, we use paper prototyping, right, which is a term where we can go in front of users very quickly and get feedback fast about whether or not our assumptions are really valid. We do formal usability testing as well as like expert reviews or heuristic reviews, task analysis. I mean, any data that we can get is only going to make design better, faster, and actually saves me, I'd say 30 to 40% on the design side. When I know what a user is intending to do, where they're going to be, what their environment's like, what their goals are, what their mindset is. I mean, the whole persona development is still a part of it, but once I know who that user is and what they're trying to do, it becomes a graphic design and a technical exercise at that point, and not a discovery of who this user is. So I think design research plays a significant role in it, and I encourage all of our clients to participate in it.
And one final question.
Yeah.
Other than clients comes to you and ask for help, do you if you have a significant finding on some thinking, do you go out and find out potential clients and propose to them?
We have done proposals to clients that we think have either need specific help or have a really good project that we can help them get further. But really, I don't think we turn work away. So any method that we can help make a better experience throughout the world is going to make me happy. So if you have a problem, I want to help you solve it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.